Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you guys enjoyed my last video of passive income. So this is going to be my third episode of Unleash the Equity, and today we're going to start talking about where should I start or what should I do next in terms of real estate investing. Okay, today we're going to talk about more about where should I start for beginners and just the entry level investment class, which is residential tenant, which is most common, especially for newbies. So I'm going to start off with house hacking, which you can do it renting or owning. So house hacking pretty much means as a landlord you actually live in that unit too, and you rent out the other rooms or other units in the building. Okay, so for example, you're renting a 3-bedroom apartment and you're living in one apartment and you're renting the other 2 rooms to tenants. Okay, and this is long term because obviously short term is shut down already. So. And again, this is you make sure you abide by your lease that you're allowed to do this, okay? So, or if you own a 3-bedroom, that you're renting the other rooms, or even the basement, or rooms in the basement as well. Okay, so that's pretty entry level. Especially when you're renting too. There's not much capital that you have to put up front, right? So, and the most common, single tenant rentals. So this is when you buy a property and you have one lease, one tenant. Not necessarily one tenant or one family, right? But one lease, right? Whether it's a condo, apartment, townhouse, or freehold, single, semi-town. Okay, pretty common, right? And then when you want to get a little bit more advanced, okay, multi-tenant converted singles. So these are single-family homes with multi-story or even single-story where you're renting out the basement. A separate tenant in the basement, separate tenant in the garage, which is not common, but I've seen it, or split level. So what I mean by split level is you can have even a 2-story, and on the first story there's a tenant, second story there's a tenant, or even 3-story or 2.5-story tenant up there, where they have their own kitchen and bath on each level, and it's just multi-tenant on each level. So I mean, again, there's some legal factors into that I'm not going to talk about, so just make sure if you're doing it, it's legal, okay? So as you know, single tenant rentals, right, especially in the GTA, you're likely not going to cash flow unless it's like a pre-con where you bought it 3 or 4, 5 years ago, and then the rent just went up to a point where it'll pay off your mortgage and then some. So, but if you're going to buy something in today's market, chances are it won't cash flow. So that's why this idea here, which is done a lot in downtown Toronto, where you have multi-tenants, multi-checks, multi-rental income, where it'll satisfy your all your expenses and you'll potentially cash flow. So amazing way. I know there's a lot of people that's doing this and really successful at it. So something to think about. And then we're coming to the purpose-built multifamily. Okay. So residential is more 4-unit. I mean, I've seen 6-unit residential that can get residential loans, so it really depends. And you can rent out the whole building yourself as an investment and just have a property manager manage it, or you self-manage it, or you can house hack it. Stay in one unit, self-manage yourself, and just rent out the other units and let them pay your mortgage, right? Okay, so very basic. I'm not going to get into too much not commercial, especially not today. I have a next segment about where should I look at next, which is more commercial, residential tenant, but commercial as well, meaning more than 6 units, right? That's what I mean by commercial. So I'm going to break down the ways how you acquire these properties too, in the order of involvement of the landlord, how much time they have to put into it, right? So first one would be syndication. Equity. So I put education here. It's because people don't know where to start. They have no background of real estate whatsoever. So what they'll do is they put an equity share into a syndication, and then they'll just learn the whole process of purchasing a property, looking at cash flow statements, how to deal with tenants, that kind of thing. Where the syndicator would do all the work in acquiring that project, right? So. That's more common in the U.S. I think Canada has like crowdfunding. I think that's their way of syndication. So, and again, syndication has SEC rules in the U.S. I think that's the same thing in Canada too. So you need some type of competence in real estate investor or investing in general for you to qualify to be to invest in something like that. Okay. So number 2 is limited partner equity. So this could be education as well, or maybe not education. You maybe don't care about learning. You just want to put money in there, get your return, and call it a day, right? So so limited partner is when, again, there's not a syndicator but a project manager. They find a deal, find partners to fund the deal. It could be a single partner, it could be multiple partners, whatever it might be. And it might not even be one of these. It could be like a flip, or it could be a property where it's a good deal. You put your money in, they fix it, find a tenant, right, and then it cash flows, and then you refinance it, get all your capital back or most of it, and then you rinse and repeat again, which is BRRR, which you seasoned investors probably know what I'm talking about. So it could be that where totally hands off, again, just like syndication, right? Could be learning or just making money. Where here you gotta put a little bit more time. So turnkey, you guys probably know what that is already. So it's pretty much tenant there, nothing you need to fix, close, collect, and call it a day, right? No work involved. You know what you're getting. You know what your cash flow is. Or it could be that too, but you probably need some minor improvements, fix the roof, fix the windows, fix the driveway, whatever it might be. But just a little bit of work there that's involved, right? Okay. So where it gets a little bit more work is partner purchase. This could be 2 people, both people on title, both people putting in money, and it's a vacant possession. So turnkey is the opposite of vacant possession. Turnkey is when there's a tenant there, you don't have to do anything. Vacant possession could be you're not doing anything, but there's no tenant in there, and you plan on putting in a tenant, and then have a property manager manage it, or you self-manage it, right? So this is just you're doing it with somebody else, okay? And the final one is when you're doing it yourself, and then it's vacant possession as well. So you're starting from scratch, probably have to put some work in there, find a tenant yourself, and then manage it however the way you want. So yeah, these 2 are definitely a little bit more active. These are a little bit more passive. So so this is pretty much what you have to do when you start investing. So this is pretty much it for the beginning stages. Hope you guys learned something, and if you have any questions, you can just ask me below. But I hope you enjoyed this. And the next one, I'm going to be talking about what should I look at next. So this is pretty much if someone's already here and they want to take it to the next level, I'll give you guys ideas of how you should start. So hope you guys enjoy this. Have a good one.